Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. Today we are actually off to regionals, so everything is currently loaded in the lorry. So as you can see, there's not an awful lot of room left in the living. We've got plenty of haylage, and I've also got their feed bins down there, and I got my black box which it's got rugs in that will go down to the stables. Then in the back, normally we would have always in the past travelled with the haylage in the back, but obviously because we've got Top Cat in here, we've not got very much room. Yeah, Top Cat. Going on.
Taking them both?
Yeah.
Is it not? Don't put them through the puddle.
Both boys are in the stables and they're quite settled, both just before walking hand. He got a little bit lively on the way back to the stable. That might be the only thing with obviously having to Top Out here. Other than that, he's a good boy. Tuck it into his hay net. Just go on with the Top Out. And there's little Top Cat. He is a little bit a bit shell shocked by it all, I think. But I'm sure he'll settle down. I think he'd like to be able to see what's going on. The door's a bit big, isn't it, Top Cat? Morning. So the boys had a good night. They seem a little bit more settled than when they first arrived. The other competitors have gone out for the arena walk, which did upset Top Cat a little bit. I think he wanted to be involved. He'd love to go down there and get involved in that, I'm sure. So he's just sort of been milling around his stable a little bit. Bo's very settled, so that's good. We're just going to go and watch a friend doing her test, and then it will be time to start getting Bo ready, because although we're not on till what time? I better double check. 12:50. I do need to sort of clean him up a bit, get the shavings out of his tail, which is always quite a task, and then get myself ready. So it's surprising how the morning's sort of quickly gonna go away from us. So we'll try and get as much footage as we can, but the weather here is really dismal, so I'm not sure how good any footage is going to be, but we'll see what we can do. This is the weather currently. So it is really wet and dismal. I've rocked out a new pair of gloves.
Wow.
Well,
Is that because you couldn't find any of the others?
No, my grips are just so worn. I just thought in the wet, if he's been a bit feisty, I don't know what he's going to be like yet.
It's quite chatty a minute ago when a horse on the stib in here.
Alright, yeah.
And then he shouted, so the top cat shouted. And they sent off like a Mexican wave down the barn.
It's a way, isn't it?
Should we just do some this next year?
Yeah. Watch them go really nicely.
Again. Just think whatever happens, we've had two really good things training in.
Yeah. I just think he might be that sort of crabby.
Yeah, I think
Feisty with it.
yeah. That wrong kind of.
I might think it's always going down there.
Yeah.
It's not ideal. But he has got this.
Can't always go to training. Or a day shows, can we?
Like, yeah. we finished our test. I was really pleased with him. When we first got in the warm-up, he was a little bit lively. The ropes down the flagpoles were flapping quite a bit, making quite a lot of noise, and he doesn't like a lot of noise. It does get him a little bit riled up, but he did settle, which I was really pleased with. I did get sort of trotting around quite sort of quickly once we got in the warm-up, and then he did some really nice work in the warm-up. Having a bit more of a plan helped, because sometimes I can just sort of meander around and not really feel like I didn't achieve anything in the warm-up, so that was great. And then sort of walking down to our arena, we had to go down the horse walk, and they had flagpoles on one side and the fence with banners on the other, and both sides were flapping around a bit. So he got a little bit upset by that, but he did listen. He did sort of go on through, and then once we got in and trotting around, he felt like he settled again. I rode probably a little bit of a quiet test. The weather conditions were horrible. You could sort of barely see one end of the arena. So I was probably could have asked for a little bit more from him, but I was quite pleased just to try and ride sort of a clean test, which I felt we did. I was really pleased with him, and when we came out, he did get a little bit held back going back down the arena, sort of the horse walk, back in to have the tack check, and then back to the stables. He got a little bit lively, but I think a lot of the horses around here have been sort of a little bit sort of unsettled. It's quite a lively atmosphere at regionals. There's a lot of horses shouting, and I think that sometimes does affect Bo, and I think it affects me as well. I think my nerves at a bigger competition are definitely worse, so that's something I've got to keep trying to sort of work on and keep a bit calmer. But I was really pleased. I was a little bit disappointed in our percentage. We had 66.67, because I felt like we did do quite a nice test, but like I said, I probably rode it a little bit too quiet, and I know I did too many trot strides on my second canter trot canter transition, but it's more something we've struggled to get him back to trot. So I probably asked a little bit early, but overall I was really pleased, and we were 5th. So I was just having a look through my test sheets. A lot of the judges' comments are pretty sort of on par really, and sort of looking back at the video, I can actually see where we sort of still need to improve. But overall, I'm chuffed to bits with him, considering the conditions, and I was really pleased. And like I say, it felt to me like one of our better elementary tests. Sometimes he can take over a little bit and a bit too much anticipation, whereas I felt like I was a bit more in the driver's seat this time. So yeah, chuffed to bits to come 5th. I think there were 13 in our class, but I will need to just double check that. Little bits to work on. I'd like to try and get him a little bit more sort of confident when things aren't quite normal, so that like if there are flags around, because a lot of these places there are, so I do feel like that's something we need to work on, and also like the tannoy system and things like that. So we do need to do a lot more familiarisation in different venues, and just try and sort of gain his confidence, because I think that's what it is. I think he genuinely gets I don't know if it's scared, but just the anxiety, and he just doesn't quite know what to do, and he just feels like a bit like a time bomb underneath you waiting to go off. So definitely need to sort of work on that, but yeah, fantastic. I'm really pleased with him. I perhaps got a little bit disappointed when I first saw the percentage and didn't take into account actually our overall result, and the placing we got. To get sort of top 10 at regionals is fantastic really, because he's not obviously a fancy warm blood. He's a little Welsh cob, although he doesn't seem to realise that. He fancies himself up there with all the big boys. So really pleased. we've arrived home back from the regionals. We've had a fantastic weekend. It was a great result for us in the elementary silver, being 5th. And it was so nice to see so many local riders doing really well and to catch up with friends. We just had a really good time. We do quite enjoy the social side of going to these big sort of competitions. So looking forward to going to Pepland shortly, although we're doing that as a day show and not as a stay away. But we will be looking to do some more stayaways in the future, and I think we will be back at Chard at some point in the summer, because they sometimes have a sort of festival dressage. So if they do, we will look forward to going to that one. So I'm really pleased with the boy. I'm chuffed to bits. It was a great result, and just looking forward to sort of continuing, hopefully sort of progressing a bit more. We'd like to try and qualify for the summer championships, so we're just trying to get our points now ready for regionals. But as the weekend goes, couldn't ask for anything better. They both were really well behaved. Top Cat was a little bit sort of frustrated that he couldn't see out, but there's nothing we can really do about that. We can't expect a show centre to have a stable door his size, which unfortunately he's used to. But I think he'll get a little bit sort of used to it, and we did make sure we gave him lots of fuss. And as you can see, he's quite happy back home, just eating his dinner, which he's tipped all over the floor. And he's also had a good roll. Oh no, he's telling his bucket off now. Sometimes he'll even throw it out over the stable door, so just have to watch he doesn't do that. I've been hit a couple of times with a flying bucket. Got to lick every single little bit up. He has a Saracen's veteran mash, because he hasn't got the best teeth, unfortunately. I think he's got quite a few in a very small space, so he finds the mash much easier to eat, but he does get in a right mess with it. Top Cat, you finished? As you can see, half of it is on the floor, and he's now cleaning that up. He's a pretty good little hoover. And the superstar, he is currently eating his dinner. He might be a bit grumpy if I put the camera over, we'll see. Oh, he's nearly finished too. Giving the bowl a good clean. My horses are not fussy, and they like to make sure they clean their bowls out well. No, not quite clean enough yet. You right, Bo? You were a clever boy, weren't you? Yeah. Are you smiling for the camera? That'd be very unusual. Oh, he's going to go and have a drink. He's had a bit of a sponge off since he's been home, and now he's got his fleece rug on just to keep him comfortable. And I think he's having a good drink, yeah. You come and say hello to the camera. Yeah, you were a good boy, weren't you? You were telling everybody you were a really good boy. Yeah? You're a little superstar. Okay. So I think Top Cat's probably finished by now. Nearly clean, eh, Top Cat? We nearly left Sprout behind. I nearly forgot him. I would have been in trouble, I think. but we did remember, well, my husband did. He was getting proper told off at the competition. You go past the stable and you see this little green sprout sort of shoot up in the air in frustration. So that's everything sort of sorted for a minute. There's still a lot of washing to do and get ready. The lorry still needs a little bit of tidying up. But for now, I am very tired. But we're going to go in and celebrate because there's a fantastic result. And then start planning for the summer. It seems to be never ending at the moment, but we've got more training coming up. So that's exciting as well. It's full steam ahead. And I'll see you next time. Bye.